This is just a little update video on the Nucanoe Unlimited. Just, what I think of it after, probably a dozen trips now. And actually maybe a little bit more, but figure a dozen, and how it's held up for me. I've heard some people had soft decks on theirs. I don't have a problem with that. Somebody told me that was more to do with the thunderstorm color than any other color, and I don't understand that, but maybe it was just when they run that particular color. I've not had any problem with it. I know in one of my other videos I showed you, but I took a cutting board from Sam's and turned it into a little console. Got a couple of rod holders on it. Those mostly I use for storage. I used them when I was catfishing. I can't tell you how they hold up landing a big catfish because I haven't done that yet. But anyway, I got my graph sitting in there. The transducer for the graph is, I don't remember which hole it's in, right there, down there in the scupper hole. It's mounted from the bottom. It's actually just held in with a cable tie. This is my trolling rod holder here, and it gets a lot of action, and I've not had any problem with it at all as far as, I've landed some drum up to, 5-6 pounds. Not any trouble. A lot of crappie, a lot of white bass. There again, I've not landed a big catfish in that one. In fact, I haven't even, when I was catfishing, I took that one out. On back here, this little piece of rope right here, I don't want to drill any kind of a complicated anchor trolley mounting system. All I do with this, and it actually works well, I've got a carabiner. I clip that to my anchor trolley, which is just a dive reel, and I throw it out the back, and then I take this loop right here, and I just hook it to either the seat or the track mount or the rod, the oar handle, right here, the paddle clip and handle is what I'm trying to say. And I do that so I can, if I need to, I can cut it or untie it if I really had a problem. It works out good for me because I like to fish with the wind blowing on the bank, and with my anchor out the back, it's just through that hole that I think is actually made for a trolley to hook to. It allows the kayak to blow forward into the, in towards the bank that the wind's blowing on. I have another little rope like that. Sometimes I put it on the other side and run it up under this handle right here, and I can throw the anchor out that way. But actually that, for the most part, that backs me into what, the wind's blowing to, and I like to fish windy areas, so I don't do that much. I got my battery box here. Somebody asked about it. There's absolutely nothing. It's just foam in there. I keep some extra fuses in there. After yesterday's trip, I went and bought some round glass fuses, and I've got a few extras of those in there now. And I put in a 7.5 amp fuse, and then there's a 2 amp fuse in the little tube there. And between the two, it protects that Garmin pretty well. It's a Garmin 6 something UHD. I can't remember, 6.5, 6 something. Anyway, it's a really nice graph, and it works exceptionally well, and it was cheap. The one in my big boat is a lot older and not actually as nice. It maybe is a little bigger, but it actually cost, over $1,000. I think this one was $200, $250, something like that. I bought it at the Bass Pro Outlet store. I carry my tackle with me. A lot of times I don't even bring the tackle box. I just throw the flat little containers down under the seat there and leave my pliers and scissors and stuff right here. These are supposed to be for tackle storage, but I find that they work so good for just general, like I say, like my pliers and stuff, that I use them. They'll also kind of hold my Gatorade bottles. I like Gatorade instead of soda pop, and the Gatorade won't quite fit in the cup holders here, which I tend to throw little lures and stuff in those, but they built the drainage system on it, and the stuff slides out down into the floor, so that's kind of a pain. This box is just a plain old, called a sportsman's trunk. Again, I bought it over at the Bass Pro Catalog Outlet store for $5 because it did not have a lid, and I love it. It holds my net, which I don't use much. I put in that's just the tie downs I use when I strap this in the truck. The bucket just pops right out, so when I'm hauling the kayak around, I can take the bucket out to save a little weight. This is a little, it looks heavy, but it's not. These are aluminum, and then that's a plastic mount. It's just screwed into the bottom of this container, so I don't think it would hold up to landing a fish, but it's a great place to store my extra rods when I'm trolling or casting, and I can put 3 in there, or the middle one has a set screw actually that's made, so if you want to put an umbrella in there, you can set screw it down and then actually spread it out, and it works great as well. I love this. A lot of guys buy those, like black packs or one of the dedicated boxes, or they could fit a milk crate, or some guys use an ice chest. This works great for me. This thing's waterproof. If I ever need to, I can throw a little water or some ice in there if I happen to catch a couple of big walleye and want to store them. Normally, when the fishing's good, if I'm going to keep a fish, I wait until the end, and I catch the fish I'm going to keep later in the day so they don't sit in the kayak long. Down in my bucket here is really not much of anything. That's my phone case with a float on it. Speaking of Gatorade, that's trash. The anchor system is down in there. These 2 bags right here, one's got bungee cords in it, the other one's just got cordage. There's my anchor system down there, my pliers. I don't carry a lot. The bucket, I drilled holes in it, which I think you can see. There's holes drilled in it, so I can throw that in, and with that pool noodle up there, it floats, where if I need to, I can use it to hold bluegill or something when I'm catfishing, which so far, like I say, I've been doing a lot of fishing, just not catching. But that's really the system. I've got a Malone kayak cart. It's a real nice cart. It works great. It's easy to load, unload with. It rolls great. The one problem with it is it's kind of built for more of a V-hull kayak. But still, it works fine. It's just, I didn't realize at the time that they had some designed for flatter hulls and some for V's. Over here I've got my paddle, which is just a Bass Pro cheapie. I think it was $79. And I put a noodle on it, although it floats anyway, but I put a noodle on it because it's easier to see. It's just an Ascend kayak paddle, and let me see, I think the other one's got the model of it. I can't remember what they call it, Tournament Angler or something. Sorry about that. Got the, let that kind of flop around. Yeah, it's a Tournament. Ascend Tournament is what it's called. I hate this little line thing in it here. Once in a while when I'm paddling, if that gets onto the trolling line, then it'll hook it where if it was solid there, it would actually just slide on by and it wouldn't hook my line. But anyway, that's a small inconvenience. And I guess if I do get a lure snagged or something, I suppose that it might be handy to get him out of a tree. It's hard to hold this paddle down underwater very far because it's buoyant. So I don't know how good that'd be for a lure retriever, like I say, other than in a tree. I carry an umbrella down there. I also, if it's raining or anything, I'll carry a 8x8 or something tarp in case I need to pull over somewhere and rig a tarp real fast between 2 trees to get me out of the rain. But on good bright days, I still bring the umbrella, but I normally don't bring the rain gear. There's really not much else to show you on the rigging. It's just, like I say, it's pretty basic. I'll probably never put a trolling motor or anything like that on it because I enjoy paddling. And I will say on the follow-up to the Unlimited, I loved my flint. I mean, I really did. I never had a problem with it. I never turned it over out in the water. Well, I did one time on purpose, but I mean, I never accidentally capsized it. I never lost any gear out of it. But the Unlimited is much, much bigger with a lot higher weight capacity. And after, like I say, after a few trips, I still love it. Sometimes at night when I'm coming back in and I'm tired, I wish it wasn't quite so heavy, but really in the world of kayaks, it's not even an overly heavy kayak. It just, especially with the, like I say, with the dolly system there. But it's wonderful. I have used those little rod tip protectors and bent my rods around my my cutting board a couple of times, but I don't do it much just because I never have put anything over these screws, and I don't want to scratch up my rods there with the metal screws. But they actually work better than I thought. I mean, it's not hard to get a rod in that and then bend it around, and the reels will set pretty much right down in here or on my longer rods back here. But it works good. I mean, it really does. And if you were paddling under a tree or something, like if you were river fishing or up real close to the banks, it would keep your rod tip from snagging. Other than that, I don't know much else to tell you. I am 100% fan of this Unlimited. And I got to tell you, I bought mine in Ozark, Missouri, at a place called Ozark Mountain Trading Center, I believe they're called, Trading Company, Trading Center, something like that. And they were wonderful. And, I mean, I'm not getting a nickel from them. I mean, I'm not even not even a free bumper sticker. I mean, they've never given me anything free, never asked for anything free. And I don't expect anything free. But they are just very, very good, honest people. They have knowledgeable staff. They're friendly. They don't pressure you. If you go in there and you own something else, they're not going to run you down for it. They're good folks. And if you happen to be in this area, they have a good inventory in stock. I believe they'll take you out paddling. I didn't even demo this thing. I saw the videos. It was like, for me, seriously, it was like somebody designed a kayak just for me. I mean, it had the features I wanted. It didn't have features I didn't want. I never wanted a center console. I never wanted the big hole in the floor, any of that. I wanted a flat deck. It's just easier for me to manage. And so, like I say, I did not demo paddle it, but I'm real sure they'll let you do that. And they're really good people. If you're interested in a kayak, I think they sell just about every brand. I think on my channel, I think there's an interview with the guy that actually sold me the kayak. And I mean, they're just great folks. I'll probably do a video too on where I was fishing on the lake and what kind of equipment I was using, although that's not very complicated for white bass trolling. But I sure appreciate you guys watching. Thanks a lot.